My wife, Natalie, was the woman every man dreamed of. Beautiful, intelligent, successful. To the outside world, we were the perfect couple. She was the star of every social gathering, a brilliant lawyer who commanded respect in the courtroom and charmed everyone she met. At home, she was supposed to be my partner, my confidant, the love of my life. But the woman everyone else saw was not the woman I lived with. Behind closed doors, the perfection was a facade. A carefully constructed stage play where she was the star and I was just a prop. It all started subtly. A late night at the office here, a last-minute business trip there. I was proud of her ambition, her drive. I supported her career, often taking on more at home so she could focus on her big cases. I never questioned her. Why would I? This was Natalie, my Natalie. The woman I had promised to love and trust for the rest of my life. But then the small things started to add up, like puzzle pieces that didn't quite fit. She became distant, emotionally unavailable. Our conversations, once filled with laughter and shared dreams, became transactional. How was your day? Fine, what do you want for dinner? I'm not hungry. She spent more and more time on her phone, smiling at the screen in a way she hadn't smiled at me in years. When I'd ask who she was texting, she'd snap. It's just for work, Colin. Don't be so nosy. The accusation in her voice stung, making me feel like I was the one in the wrong for even asking. The physical distance grew too. A hug felt forced. A kiss on the cheek was a rare commodity. The intimacy we once shared vanished, replaced by a cold chasm in our king-sized bed. I tried to talk to her to understand what was wrong. I suggested counseling, date nights, a vacation, anything to reconnect. Each suggestion was met with a sigh of exasperation. Colin, I'm just tired, she'd say. I have a lot on my plate right now. You're putting too much pressure on me. She had a way of turning everything back on me, making me feel insecure and demanding. I started to believe it. Maybe I was the problem. Maybe I wasn't being supportive enough. The doubt ate away at me. I felt like I was losing my mind, walking on eggshells in my own home. The vibrant, loving woman I married had been replaced by a cold, secretive stranger. The public Natalie was still perfect. At parties, she would hold my hand, laugh at my jokes, and tell our friends how lucky she was to have such a supportive husband. It was a flawless performance. But the moment we were in the car on the way home, the mask would drop. Silence. The contrast was jarring, and it made me feel like I was living a double life. The breaking point came on our anniversary. I had planned a surprise dinner at the restaurant where we had our first date. I bought her a beautiful necklace, something she had admired months ago. I spent the day filled with a nervous hope, a foolish belief that this one gesture could magically fix everything. She was supposed to be home from work by 6. 6 o'clock came and went, then 7, then 8. I called her phone and it went straight to voicemail. I texted her, my messages marked as delivered but unread. Panic began to set in. Was she okay? Did something happen? I called her office, but no one answered. I called her friends, her colleagues. No one had seen her since lunch. By 10 o'clock, my hope had curdled into a cold, hard knot of dread in my stomach. Finally, just after 11, I heard her key in the door. She walked in, looking flushed and a little disheveled, but unharmed. The relief I felt was instantly replaced by a surge of anger. Where were you, Natalie? I asked, my voice shaking. I've been worried sick. She didn't even look at me. She tossed her keys onto the hall table and started walking toward the bedroom. I had to work late, she said, her voice flat. Case blew up. I told you I was busy. You didn't tell me anything, I shot back, following her. Your phone was off. I called everyone. I thought something had happened to you. She finally turned to face me, her eyes cold. You need to stop being so clingy, Colin. It's suffocating. That was it. The word suffocating echoed in the silent room. After everything I had done, after all the sacrifices I had made for her career, for us, I was suffocating her. Something inside me snapped. The doubt, the insecurity she had so expertly cultivated in me was gone. All that was left was a raw, painful certainty. Who is he, Natalie? The question hung in the air between us. For the first time in months, I saw a flicker of genuine emotion in her eyes. Panic. She tried to bluff, to deflect. What are you talking about? You're being paranoid? But her voice lacked its usual conviction. I pressed on, the pieces finally clicking into place. The late nights, the phone, the distance, the lies. I saw the hotel confirmation on your laptop last week. I lied. It was a complete shot in the dark, a desperate gamble. But her reaction told me everything. Her face went pale. The facade of the perfect wife crumbled right there in our bedroom, leaving behind the ugly, devastating truth. The silence stretched on for what felt like an eternity before she finally spoke, her voice barely a whisper. His name is Mark. He's a partner at the firm. The words hit me like a physical blow. I felt the air leave my lungs. Mark. I knew him. He was older, married, a mentor figure to her. We had had dinner with him and his wife multiple times. The perfect Natalie, entertaining our friends while secretly sleeping with one of their husbands. The hypocrisy was staggering. The betrayal was absolute. It wasn't just about the physical act. It was the web of lies she had spun around me, around our life, around everyone who thought they knew her. She tried to explain, to justify. She said she felt unseen, that our life had become boring, that Mark understood her ambition in a way I never could. Each word was another twist of the knife. She wasn't sorry she did it. She was sorry she got caught. The woman standing before me was a stranger. I realized that the perfect life she presented to the world was the only one that mattered to her. At home, where there was no audience, she didn't have to pretend. In that moment, I saw our entire relationship for what it was, a performance for her benefit. I was just part of the set dressing. The pain was immense, a deep, hollowing ache in my chest. But alongside the pain, there was a strange sense of clarity. The confusion and self-doubt that had plagued me for so long were gone. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't clingy. I was a husband being cheated on by a wife who was a master of deception. I didn't shout. I didn't scream. I just felt empty. I looked at her, at the woman I had loved more than anything, and I felt nothing but pity. Pity for a person so consumed with maintaining an image that she had destroyed the only real thing she had. I want you to leave, I said, my voice quiet but firm. Pack a bag and leave. Tonight she was shocked. I think she expected me to fight for her, to beg her to stay, to try and fix it. That's what the old Colin would have done. But that Colin was gone, shattered along with the illusion of our perfect life. Watching her pack her things, I didn't feel sadness, just a profound sense of release. The performance was over. The curtain had come down. The days that followed were hard, but they were real. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't living in a state of confusion. The truth, however painful, is always better than a beautiful lie. Rebuilding my life from the rubble of her betrayal won't be easy, but I know I'll be okay, because I'm no longer a supporting actor in someone else's play. I'm the main character in my own story now, and it's a story based on truth. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever felt lost in someone else's shadow or questioned your own reality in a relationship, know that you're not alone and your feelings are valid. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.